Washington has all options on the table for Greenland. But what does that really mean? Greenland's Prime Minister has explicitly said, "We choose Denmark." Recently, in CNN poll, three-quarters of Americans say they oppose the United States attempting to take control over. US President said he is considering applying new tariffs on countries that oppose his ambitions of annexing Greenland. So what is the issue? Right now, the world is watching Greenland not for its eyes, but for its geostrategic and economic importance. In early January 2026, President Donald Trump revived a controversial idea: the United States should acquire Greenland by purchase, incentives, or even force. The White House has publicly stated that all options, including military ones, are being discussed. That sounds like 19th century land grab, but in 2026, it's become a high stakes geopolitical flashpoint. So let me tell you why Greenland matters. So, number one, strategic military location. Greenland sits at gateway to the North Atlantic and Arctic, a region growing in strategic competition as ice melts and global power stakes claims. The US already operates Pitofic space base there under long-standing agreements. President Trump insists Greenland is crucial for US national security, especially for early warning missile defense system and monitoring rival powers. In his recent public statement, he's argued that anything less than US control is unacceptable because Russia and China could gain influence otherwise. Natural resources and critical minerals. Greenland sits on rare earth elements and other critical minerals needed for electric vehicles, batteries, defense tech, and renewable energy. These resources are key to reducing dependency on China's supply chain, a strategic priority for the US and its allies. Third, but the most important one, new Arctic trade routes. As Arctic ice continues to diminish, shipping routes like the Northwest Passage are emerging as potential global trade corridors, cutting transit times dramatically between Europe and Asia. Whosoever controls Greenland could influence this Arctic Silk Road of 21st century. So what is the geopolitical reality check? Greenlanders don't want US rules. Greenland is a self-governing territory of a Denmark with a population of about 56,000. Multiple polls and statements show overwhelming opposition among Greenlanders to becoming part of the United States. They want to stay tied to Denmark and NATO, not be annexed by any other power. Denmark and Europe push back. Denmark, a NATO ally, has called any notion of US annexation unacceptable and is strengthening its military presence in Greenland with European support. European troops from countries including France, Germany, and the UK have recently arrived in Greenland in solidarity with Danish sovereignty. European leaders warn that any forced takeover should fracture NATO. On the other hand, Donald Trump's special envoy to Greenland said a deal for Washington to take over the island should and will be made. Is this real or just rhetoric? Here's what we know from recent developments. The US has publicly said military options are on the table. Denmark and Greenland have resolutely rejected the idea of US control. European allies are reinforcing Greenland under NATO framework. Congressional resistance is growing with bipartisan efforts to prohibit use of US funds for annexation. So, this is not merely rhetorical fluff, it's a real international dispute with diplomatic, legal, and military dimensions. The real question is this just a revived real estate pitch from Washington or the beginning of a new era of great power competition in Arctic? That answer depends on whether the US follows negotiation and cooperation working with Denmark and NATO or escalates towards unilateral actions with global consequences. What do you think? Is Greenland destined to become part of the United States? Or could this be the flashpoint that strains Western alliance, the breaking point?